you pay $999 for a monitor stand? That's what Apple's proposing for its new 6K Pro monitor, which already costs $4,999 on its own. When Apple announced the stand's price during its WWDC keynote on Monday, you could hear the audience's dissatisfaction out loud. It was so palpable, it even made Apple's hardware engineering head stammer as he continued with his presentation. He was completely unprepared for the Apple faithful to question the glorious technology being bestowed upon them. Now, the Pro Display's stand seems genuinely nice. It's sleek and modern, it can tilt the screen smoothly, and it can even rotate into portrait mode easily. But is it worth $999? That's doubtful. Mostly, it seems like a raw deal, and it's a problem we've seen repeatedly from Apple over the years, upselling attractive tech that doesn't actually do much. Take a look at the MacBook Pro. 4 years after Apple replaced its function keys with the touchscreen touch bar, it still feels like a half-cooked idea. Sure, there's potential for a dynamic and contextual menu bar, but that can lead to hesitation. And instead of making things easier, the touch bar has become a constant source of friction. What's supposed to be a machine for professionals doesn't have any of the ports people actually need, like memory card slots, Ethernet, HDMI, and USB Type-A. It's all USB-C, and Apple expects you to rely on dongles for all those connections. Never mind that other PC makers like Dell and Lenovo have no trouble fitting in those ports in slim machines. Even Apple proved it could do that with the 2015 MacBook Pro. While there's a simplicity to sticking with USB-C, is that really worth making life more difficult for a large segment of your customers? The iPad Pro has similar issues. It's one of the most attractive devices Apple has ever made, but it's also one that's been severely held back by iOS. A mobile OS was just fine when the iPad was being positioned as more of a consumption device, but its clunky multitasking and lack of a genuine file system makes it difficult to treat the iPad Pro as a genuine notebook replacement. Thankfully, Apple is going to fix those issues with iOS 13 and its iPad OS fork later this year. But until then, the iPad Pro feels like a Ferrari with the handling of a Power Wheels toy car. And of course, we can't forget about the previous trash can Mac Pro. Apple was so obsessed with making something that looked unique and fashionable, it dropped the ball when it came to expansion and thermal performance. The company ended up apologizing for that machine 2 years ago and promised a more useful follow-up. That's the new Modular Mac Pro it showed off on stage this week. Pro users are a rare breed. They won't mind spending $5,000 for a reference-level monitor or tens of thousands for a fully decked-out workstation. If it helps them work faster and more efficiently, that investment is worth it. But what's the point of a $999 monitor stand, especially when you can find alternatives for far less? Judging from the reaction of the WWDC audience, there really isn't one. We'll see you tomorrow with more Engadget Today.